Navigating communication chaos by unlocking the power of Mercury retrograde in Virgo. We are currently in the shadow period of Mercury retrograde. Now, this means that the area of your life with Mercury is going to station retrograde, and it's giving you this clear view of this region of your life that's going to be decluttered and reformatted. Mercury is in the house of Virgo, and it is stationed retrograde. It will station retrograde on August 23rd and remain here until September 15th, where then it will start to move forward again. This is the third out of 4 Mercury retrogrades in 2023. Now, each time this year, it has been in an earth sign, and this time it's in the very detailed sign of Virgo, and this will be the last retrograde until December. Now, all of them being in earth signs, it's about grounding and centering and sinking in and worried about finances, worried about cash, property, real estate, anything that has to do with job, career. It's reformatting this area of our life with these intentions about having a mountain to climb and making sure it's the correct mountain and making sure that the progress you're setting out to do means that you can get to where you're supposed to be going with the best intentions. Now, Mercury stations retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. Mercury is often referred to as the planet of communication. It is intellect. It is your thought processes. It represents how we think, how we learn, how we express ourselves, how we take in and process information in our head. It also influences how we convey our thoughts and our ideas. It's how we make decisions and how we interact with our immediate environment. Mercury's position influences your communication style, your learning preferences, and how you approach problem solving. It can also provide us an opportunity for setbacks or detours when it's retrograde for travel, technology. Now, because Mercury offers this objectivity and intellect and adaptability, when it stations retrograde, it gives us an opportunity to go back and revise. So the sign of Virgo. Virgo is the season of the beginning of fall. We have less daylight. We leave the season of play, August, and Leo, and then we get down to business and get down to work. Think of it as when kids go back to school or you begin to harvest the garden. We look for routines because now we're out of the summer mode and we're into like this fall mode, and we need to adjust our daily habits. It's when we take stock of everything that we have and we begin to look at what do we have, what do we need, and where do we need to get down to business. We become more meticulous, we become more logical, less lackadaisical, because Mercury wants us to fine tune and tweak and be organized, less play, more action. Virgo is associated with the element of Earth, and it's ruled by the planet of Mercury. And so it's linked to all attributes such as practicality and attention to detail, being analytical with your thinking and your thoughts, organization, and a strong desire for efficiency. This is going to be an area of your life where you want to maintain order and structure. Now, Mercury station retrograde. When Mercury goes into its retrograde motion, which means it looks like it's slowing down and stopping, but it's not really. It appears to be moving backwards in the sky from our perspective. This is a time period that has an opportunity to influence our communication, technology, decision making. And so I have like a little mental Mercury to-do list. I generally clean out closets, or it's about cleaning out your cupboards. It'll be you going through and reorganizing your home, your office, your yard, your car. This is going to be a time of tying up all loose ends that are in your life. So when Mercury stations retrograde, we have a lot of balls that we're juggling and all these things that are up in the air. And Mercury retrograde says, I want you to put a stop on everything, and I want you to go back and finish. So Mercury also wants us to go back and finish old projects that we need to finish before moving on to new. Mercury retrograde represents all the re-words. It represents review, reorganize, remind, reinforce, retrospective, readjust, rejoin, and like put back together, rebuild. It represents rearrange, rediscover, and rewrite. So at this time, you're going to need to practice slowing down with intentional communication and travel. I always update my computer and back up any updated apps or software beforehand. Mercury retrograde will have you researching purchases for later, or restocking your pantry, or restocking things in your life, replacing batteries, removing any distractions, reconnecting with friends, and updating or fixing things. Remember that when Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Virgo, its effects are going to be filtered through all of the Virgoian traits. Virgo is already meticulous, it's detail-oriented, so during a Mercury retrograde in this sign, these qualities are going to become even more pronounced in your day-to-day life and your daily habits. Hi, I'm Patricia Tate, your astrologer, and this is your Mercury retrograde August 2023 forecast for each sign. And I'm going to ask you, if you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe. So let's dive in. Aries Sun and Aries Rising. So Mercury is currently will be stationed retrograde in your 6th house. Now the 6th house for you is your job, your workplace. It's where you find a balance between home and work. It's your daily habits. It's your health, your mental, physical, spiritual. It's the house of pets. It's the house where you are of service to others. And it's your coworkers. It's your employees. It's where it can be the house of sickness, and it can also be the house of finding a mentor. So knowing that, we look at what 2 areas of your life that it rules. It rules your Virgo house, and Mercury also rules your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is types of communication. It's writing. It is relationship with your neighbors. It's relationship with your siblings. It is you again at work. It is learning. It is changes and travel. So these 2 areas of your life are going to be highlighted with this Mercury retrograde. I look at what is the opposition. Remember that all types of communication are now up for grabs. This could be an opportunity for you to focus on your health, your workout routines. There could be definitely possible miscommunications with colleagues at work, or with mentors, or with subordinates, or somebody that works for you. Remember that Mercury is going back will have you looking and reevaluating what you used to do, what you want to do, and what you need to go back to do to move forward with. There is this opposition that of here's Mercury, and it is going to go retrograde in between the 2 planets of Saturn and Neptune. Now, the planet of Saturn wants to provide stability. It wants to have boundaries. And Neptune is clearly blurry. And so since the communication is going to be it can be foggy, and it can have somebody else's thoughts and ideas, like orders, directions. There could be miscommunication going on between those 2 areas of your 12th house. And your 12th house is the hidden house. The 12th house is your dreams, your intuition. It's where we go to for retreat. It can be prisons, rehab. It can be solitude. It's the unconscious. And so you need to look to how you communicate, where you give your consent, and where you maybe you're not reading the fine print with it, and you're getting caught up in the Saturnian, somebody else has a say-so over top of you. And the Neptune is, I want to trust, I want to believe. there is this beautiful trine. So here we have Mercury. There's this beautiful trine to Jupiter and Taurus in your second house. This will be an opportunity to go back. The second house is your cash, your property, and your self-worth. And this is for your self-worth, your inner healing, and communicating what are your needs in order to make this happen. Because Uranus is here, Uranus has you with Mercury going back, and some things can be shocking. They can be revealing. This is about seeing the bigger picture because Jupiter is here. So for your self-worth, how people are seeing you, you speaking out, anything that has to do with your work, your colleagues, your boss, your speaking out may come as a shock to some people, and it may border on between somebody having a say-so over top of you and blurring your words, not exactly being truthful and authentic with it. This Neptune-Saturn opposition with Mercury words, meaning what you say and do can be manipulated, altered, or changed. So I want you to use caution because that will truly affect who you are as your self-worth. And this is about your personal self-worth, your who you are in the world, and what your words are. And this is, I didn't say that. Well, I didn't mean that. And this is not how it was intended. So be crystal clear. Make sure you read all the fine print of everything and know that some things can come out or be misconstrued, or somebody may want to try to have a say-so, a boss, authority figure over top of what you're doing and what you're saying for your career, your work, your job, or it could be mentorship. So for Taurus Sun and Taurus Rising, the Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde in your fifth house. So the fifth house is love affairs, it's children, it's things that bring you joy. This can be gambling, this could be creative projects like art or music. It's the area of your life where you have personal creativity. Now Mercury stationing retrograde may have you going back and finishing some projects. It may have you going back and picking up on some lessons that you had taken before. I want to draw your attention to the opposition that we're going to have. Mercury is going to be right between the planets of Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn is where there's rules and boundaries, and Neptune is where things can be blurry. And Mercury is going to be your communication in these projects. And so this opposition is authority figures. It's about things and projects that you want to finish. Remember that the 11th house is your hopes, wishes, and dreams, and the people that you associate with in order to manifest those. And so Mercury stationing retrograde can be using your words and having somebody else, an authority figure, manipulating the words, or Neptune blurring your words. So people that you associate with, or these could be coworkers, these could be you not reading the fine print of things with projects that you're wanting to work on, or things that you are doing in your life that it literally means that things can be blurred and somebody else could have a say-so over projects that you are working on, either personal or at home. Now, Mercury rules not only your fifth house, but it also rules your cash, your property, your self-image, it's your money, it's your personal resources, it's your finances, it's your movable property, and it's your talents. So we know that this has something to do with things that bring you joy, something that has to do with your self-worth, your finances, your money, and the opposition is going to be between other people taking your words and shifting them around. This Neptune-Saturn opposition with your mercurial words means that these things can be manipulated, altered, or changed within these groups, whether they're through work or they are through social groups that you are part of. So be crystal clear with things that you are saying, and your written communication because it will also be affecting your 8th house of shared resources, because we have Jupiter. Let's talk about Jupiter. So there is this trine between Mercury and Jupiter. So this is definitely expanding something that has to do with you. Jupiter is in your 1st house. It rules your 8th house of shared resources that you have, like contracts that you have with other people. Uranus is here. So this is think outside the box, shocking, surprising. Jupiter is seeing the bigger picture and wanting to expand upon some things. And so where are you going back, completing these projects and reassessing your financial matters, because it's your 2nd house? Where are you being clear with your romantic discussions that you have with other people? Because that affects who you are. Everything in that with this Mercury retrograde will have you going back to romantic liaisons, children, creative projects, how that affects you with your resources, your money, how it affects you personally, because there's this trine, and you with your 8th house of these alimony, child support. It's the house of deep bonding, and it's where you have these contracts with other people, and where your words can be misconstrued or taken the wrong way, or intentionally shifted the wrong way, manipulated or altered for somebody else's benefit. I want you to make sure that you are looking to where are you giving this consent, because you just didn't read the fine print in it. This could be with all details of contracts. Remember that this could be shocking and surprising, and not wanting to have your words manipulated or turned against you. Gaslighting comes to my mind with, well, you said this, and then somebody not liking what you say, and then flipping your words and turning them against you. So be crystal clear and stand your ground with what you say, how you say, and work to reevaluate these relationships and these contracts and things that you have, in that you are standing firm with them and not having them just not being gaslit. This is people who are narcissists, who it's about control, and them wanting to control you through words, because it will definitely affect who you are, your money, and your connection with them, feeling like you have this deep bonding, this deep connection with them. And then how do I cut that cord? All right. So for Gemini Sun and Gemini Rising, this is going to be big for you, because Mercury is your chart ruler. Mercury rules you, and it rules your house of home. So let's start with your 4th house. The 4th house is your home, your genealogy. It's your experience with your father. It's your private and personal life now and in the past. And it is your family relationships and the family dynamics. It is your ancestors. It is about traditions. And your 4th house is a pretty big house. And Mercury rules over all of those themes with how do you communicate? Who do you communicate it with? Are you the peacekeeper, finding the details? And so it also rules who you are seen as. Gemini, the one who gathers the information, the one who talks, the one who shares, the one who, are you the one who takes care of all of the pictures at the family gatherings? Are you the one who also takes in all the information from all of the ancestors that came before, and you work on ancestry of where did I come from? Now, this time could have you going back and saying, where did this habit come from? You can do past lives, or you can look that this was passed down from generation to generation to generation, and now I'm working to, how do I get rid of this? How do I remove myself from this? I want to talk about this opposition of Mercury is going to be retrograde, and it's going to go wavering literally right in between Saturn. And Saturn is authority figures with your career, your boss, or people who have some authority over top of you. And Neptune. Neptune is dreams, illusions, and Mercury stationing retrograde between those two areas of your life with your house. Between your home and your career. Remember, your 10th house is your life path. It's your career. It's where you're going. It's your legacy. It is who you are seen as, and it's also your public reputation. So this is an opportunity for you to look at where are you? Where am I? Where are you giving your consent away by not reading the fine print, by trusting in this illusion that my career is going to take care of me, my job is that this parental person, this authority figure is going to have my best interest at heart, because it will affect who you are, your home, and your career. I do want to draw attention to, there's this beautiful trine with Jupiter and Uranus in your 12th house. Now, Jupiter is expansive. It sees the bigger picture. It's the gift of the zodiac, but it makes everything bigger. So if it's good, it makes it bigger. If it's difficult, it still makes it bigger. It gives you this opportunity to deal with things. Now, Uranus is there, and Uranus is, look, make it hard, make it fast, make it quick. Just rip off the bandage. It's about your 12th house, and the 12th house is your dreams, your intuition, your gut instinct. It is where we go to be alone. It's prisons, institutions, it's sorrow, it's shamanic work, it is your connection to the spiritual realm, it's your relationship with hidden enemies. It's also self-sabotage. And so at this time, you have this opportunity to rid yourself of karmic patterns that have been going on for generations, or at least to open up Pandora's box and start to deal with some of these topics. You will be bringing them up, and it may trigger some things with some other people in your life, and it will definitely be a reflection of you. These could be authority figures, meaning parents, grandparents, bosses, and not always having your best interest at heart because they're taking it internally. You thinking differently than them will not be smooth waters for them. So you're looking to where do I give away my consent? Where did I not read the fine print of this contract? Or where are things going to be shocking and revealing so I can now see the bigger picture through your dreams and your intuition? You're going to discover that there are some things that have been going on for generations or throughout your family that you're going to be able to make the necessary steps to end, or to say, I'm not going to follow that same path. With the Gemini rising, you're looking at how do you communicate that you're not like that and that you want to change those words and those actions moving forward, that you cannot be manipulated anymore, and you need to work on you're not going to be able to change other people. And so they're going to maybe hear you, most likely not. But it's about you stating your thoughts and your ideas, and they're going to be different than others. And it's where do you stand your ground, and being consistent and knowing your boundaries. And you will be reassessing your personal goals, and being cautious about your self-expression, because it'll have you reconnecting with some family members. So be mindful with these in-home related matters that you are dealing with, one thing at a time. Remember that some things run deep. Some karma runs deep from generation to generation. And some people, sometimes you're the catalyst that helps them to learn and grow and change. And sometimes they are your lesson for you to stand on your own, speak your truth. So the lessons go both ways. So for Cancer Sun and Cancer Rising, this is occurring, Mercury is stationed retrograde. It will be in your third house. The third house for you is the house of communication. And this is with siblings, with neighbors. And so there might be some misunderstandings. There might be some disputes over things that not understanding what you're saying, why you're saying it. Maybe you're finding your voice. Maybe you're changing your thoughts and your opinions. I do want to draw your attention to Mercury is going to station retrograde right between Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn in your ninth house is about finding some boundaries. So this is authority figures that through the internet, through classes, through workshops, taking classes, becoming a teacher, and Neptune is where things become blurry. Now, Saturn, remember that the ninth house is also the house of publishing and legal things like the law. And so you're going to have to use a lot of caution with where are you giving up your consent? Where are you not reading the fine print of things? Where are your words being blurred? Where are people taking your words and taking the thoughts and ideas that you're trying to communicate for your work, for your home, with your neighbors, with your siblings, and it's totally being misconstrued. It is totally being blown out of proportion. This could be with foreign people, places, and things. This, again, remember, all of these planets are retrograde. Everything is like going backwards. It's like the perfect storm for someone to take what you say and use your words against you, a form of like gaslighting. Now, Mercury rules your third house, and it also rules your 12th house. The 12th house is the house of hidden enemies. It's also self-sabotage. But it's also dreams, intuition, the Akashic records. It's your shadow self. It's where you go to gather your thoughts in your head for intuition, the spiritual realm. It is the house of I need to be alone to figure out what do I want to say. It's the shadow work that you have to do. And so knowing this, your words are going to you're going to be rethinking and reevaluating them because you don't want to give up your consent, and you need to think long and hard about how you're saying it, and that somebody is not using it against you, like gaslighting of taking your words and then totally twisting them around because you said, like they're saying things to confuse you, and then you say yes and you really meant no because maybe the questions come in quick succession. Things can be a little confusing, and that's what this Neptune and the Saturn, this wavering between this area of your life that could have to do with school or learning, and again with things that have to do with legal matters. There is this beautiful trine that will support you with Uranus and Jupiter in your 11th house. Now, the 11th house for you is your house of your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, and the people that you network with in order to manifest those and make them happen. So these can be work associates, and these can also be close friends. Not close friends in, like I call them all the time, but close friends in that I get together with for a specific purpose. So it could be like a book club or a bowling league. It's what you want to do for pleasure and what you want to do for work. It's the groups that you participate and join in. Now, they're going to be able to support you, but there may be some shocking and surprising things that may be revealed. So I want you to be thinking about the internet, and I want you to be thinking about AI and phone and email and text. All of these things where what you're putting out there can be shifted, changed, or manipulated in some way. And so I do worry about that with the whole classes, workshops, publishing, opposition to you and the way that you want to communicate. So take this time to like review your communication with your siblings, with your neighbors, with people that you work with, to make sure that you can try to avoid as many misunderstandings as possible. Read, reread, emails, phones, texts. Be careful with travel concerns. So travel light when during this time period, and know that this will affect you, and this will affect your neighborhood. This will affect you privately, and this is an opportunity for you to totally tune into your gut, your intuition, your dreams. If your gut says that something is on the shady side, you really need to follow it, because Mercury does rule your 12th house. This is your spirit guides, your ancestors. It's the help from the spiritual realm. And whether you think it's angels or anything that would be spiritual to help, or your dreams, or just a connection to a good friend that you're in a group with, follow those positive and avoid any of the pitfalls that could possibly come from your communication and your written work. Make sure that you are claiming everything that's yours with some kind of trademark, so other people are not taking your work and claiming it as their own. All right, Leo Sun and Leo Rising. So this Mercury stationing retrograde is going to be happening in your second house. Your money, your cash, your property, your self-worth. It's your movable property. It's your values, your opinions, your talents, and all of that there's going to be this, let's go back and rethink some things. Do I really still want this? Do I really still need this? Can I sell this? Can I get rid of this? Now, Mercury rules your second house, and it also rules your 11th house. The 11th house for you is your friends, your networks, your work networks and your friend networks that you get together with for the same purpose or goal of maybe like a book club or work meetings, or like a bowling league, or any projects that you want to participate in. Now, there's going to be this opposition that when Mercury stations retrograde, it will be right smack dab in between Neptune and Jupiter. Now, Neptune and Saturn. So Saturn is the planet of restriction and its authority, and Neptune is blurry and confused, and the 8th house is your shared resources. So there's going to be this opposition between what is mine and what is ours. And an authority figure could be with contracts, I would definitely look at contracts and shared resources, about where are you giving your consent away because you're not reading the fine print. So I want you to make sure that it's all contracts, anything that's written. This could be with AI. This could be with, let's say that you want to sell something, making sure that, when you put stuff out there to sell and then somebody else wants to sell it, or you get scammed with it. There is this opportunity for your hopes, wishes, dreams, your social circles, your networks, for them to support you, for you to be able to go for advice, because the 11th house, it's you reaching out to others who will share this common goal that you have. I also want to bring your attention to, here we have the Mercury retrograde with Jupiter is in your 10th house with Uranus, and it's this beautiful trine for your career. So what are you doing that you want to advance your career? What are you working on? This has to do with your personal cash, your personal property, your shared resources that you have with others, and this opposition between I want to know what is mine, I want to know what is yours, and why do I have this miscommunication with the internet or with travel, and we have Jupiter and Uranus there. Uranus is, it's the higher octave of Mercury. It is internet, phone, email, text. It's taking things and making them into airwaves. And Jupiter is the planet of expansion, and it's the gift of the zodiac currently in your career sector of your life. Now, the 10th house is also legacy, things that I want to leave behind, how I want to be known as. And it's also how people see you. Now, you have this beautiful earth trine, and the earth trine is with your cash, your property, and your career and your health sector, and the daily habits and things that you do to push outside of the box. Like this, the sixth house is what you give back to others, and it's how you balance home and work. So definitely, I want you to pay attention to if you're decluttering things, and I believe that you'll be decluttering like your personal space, and you're going to be looking at your finances. You're going to be reevaluating your financial decisions, your being clear with your communication, and things that you sell, things that you purchase. Make sure that you are looking and reading the fine print with it, because you don't want to lose something. You don't want to lose something that you know you're purchasing, and then you want to sell something in good faith. You want to be able to move your money into a place, because this is the opposition is the eighth house of shared resources. So this could be investing in. So use caution when investing in that. You are definitely reading the fine print, because this Neptune-Saturn opposition is about your words can be manipulated. Things that you are writing can be altered or changed or manipulated. All right. So for Virgo Sun and Virgo Rising, Mercury is going to station retrograde in your first house of self. So this is basically you going back and reflecting on your personal habits, reflecting on how you look. I want you to be careful with secrets and things that are hidden. Mercury rules not only your career, your first house of self, but it also rules your career, the top of your chart, your 10th house. It is the sign of Gemini, and this is like the legacy that I want to leave behind, my career, my job, me in the outside world. And Mercury station retrograde has you going back and saying, I am in the process of like rebranding myself. Now, there is this opposition. The opposition is, here's Mercury retrograde, and it's going to be smack dab in between your 7th house with Saturn and Neptune. Now, the 7th house is partnerships, clients, one-on-one relationships, your significant others, business partners. It is your 1+1 house. And Mercury stationing retrograde will have you going back over the things that you're saying, the contracts that you have, because Saturn wants control. And Neptune is going to be blurring some things and not seeing the clear picture, or it will be more about where are you giving your consent away to a partner, to a business client, to a business partner with, or a significant other business partner. Like it is your 1+1 house. This could be with your friends. It is where are you, Mercury retrograde in your first house with your sun there, where are you giving away your power? Where are you giving away your words, your consent? Because you didn't read the fine print of something, or you believed that this person wouldn't act this way because of previously how they've been with you. And so this is you paying attention to the details, because this will affect you with your career, with how people see you, with how people view you. Now, there is this beautiful trine to Jupiter. Jupiter is currently, so here's your Mercury retrograde. Jupiter is currently with Uranus in your 9th house. This is going to be an opportunity to Uranus, shock, surprise, think outside the box. How do I solve this problem? And expand. Give you these opportunities to expand your career, expand who you are connected with, foreign people, places, things, taking classes, taking workshops, getting things published. This is the house of things with law, and it's foreign travel, higher education, diving into religion or spirituality, or maybe going back and saying, I need to finish this class, I need to finish this workshop, because it's going to change who I am. It's going to alter who I am. And then I need to use caution with, my partnership. Who am I partnering with? This is going to also affect your 4th house of home, because Jupiter here rules your 4th house of home. So know that everything that's going on will affect like major areas of your life. Who are you? a rebranding or a reflecting on your personal goals, how you look, how you act, and it will affect your partnership sector of your life, and it will affect your career or how you want to be seen in the world, your home, and who you connect with in order to make these things happen. Again, I'm encouraging you to all contracts, look at, double check, make sure that you're not signing something blindly. I know that I have been guilty of it, where I just get it and say, okay, I've been to the doctor a million times, I'm just going to sign this off. Or here's a contract for my Zoom account, I'm just going to sign with these new updates. No, read the fine print, because this will have to do with you giving away things that have to do with you. So I want you to be thinking like AI and other people claiming things as their idea, like gaslighting you, because we have this opposition to your 7th house. And so who wants to take credit for your work? Who wants to take advantage of you, or just take what is yours? And you're going to have to go back, rethink, review, make sure that you've done the work for that, because you're going to have this opportunity to see the bigger picture, but make sure that your writing and your communication is crystal clear, that the things that you are creating are not manipulated in any way or altered or changed in any way. All right, so Libra Sun and Libra Rising. This Mercury retrograde is going to be in your 12th house. Now, the 12th house is your fears, it's intuition, it's dreams, it's psychic abilities, it's the Akashic records, it's the spiritual realm, it's your unconscious mind, it's your shadow self. Now, I don't mind a Mercury retrograde in the 12th house, because it has me going back into just going within and paying attention to my dreams, my intuition. It gives me a chance to dive into things that I already knew were there, or with classes or workshops with, I could use tarot, I could use astrology, I need to, I can get the answer to that through my Akashic records. Paying attention to what's inside. Now, the opposition to this, where there's going to be difficulty, is it's going to station retrograde opposite of your 6th house. So the 6th house for you, it has Saturn and it has Neptune. Now, Saturn is authority. Neptune is dreams and making things blurry. And Saturn is somebody wanting to, this could be taking credit for some work that you've done, or not wanting to allow you to do something that you want to do. Neptune is, these are your dreams. I trust you. I don't understand this. Remember that the 6th house is not just the bridge between your work and your home, it's your mentors. And so there could be some difficulty with communication with your daily habits, mentorship, people that you trust. Now, Mercury also rules your 9th house. Now, the 9th house is your foreign travel, it's higher education. So any traveling that you do now, reconnecting with people from the past, going to places that you've been before, I would definitely expect slowdown, hiccups, or problems. This could have you reconnecting or finishing a class, finishing a workshop, going back and saying, I'm going to question this religion or this philosophy. I want to dive into it, and I'm just not ready to move on from this. I need to take it within, and I need to process this. Now, there is this beautiful trine that will support you. And so you have your Mercury in your 12th, and you have the trine of Jupiter and Uranus in your 8th house. The 8th house is your house of shared resources. It's the house of deep bonding. It's psychological. It's about going deep, uncovering things, and coming out renewed. So with Mercury in your 12th house, I have a feeling that you're probably going to be going back to areas of your life that you just haven't gone to in a while. And it's about uncovering and taking off the Band-Aid and saying, who were these authority figures that I gave away my consent to, not willingly, but this time I have a say so in it. Maybe it's about healing karma. It's about healing generational trauma. It's about healing past lives. Uranus will allow you this insight to see it quickly and to pivot quickly. And Jupiter here, I love Jupiter. Jupiter like takes the hits for you, but it also expands. Look, it expands positive and negative. So if you're not working with it, it can take something and make it, bigger than what it really needs to be. So know that this communication that you have going on with diving into spirituality, diving into religion, taking classes, taking workshops, and that this is going to be offering you a healing of such, of you taking your words and not having them used against you, this Saturn, this Neptune, about reading the fine print of everything and standing up for and saying, nope, these were my words, this is what I said, not having anyone take advantage of you by gaslighting you and using your words against you. Make sure that you're reading the details, make sure that you're going back, because there will be some shocking, revealing some things with you seeing the bigger picture and you don't want to have your words used or manipulated or altered or changed against you. You know what you want to say. You need to say what you mean and mean what you say, and tap into your intuition before saying anything to others, and know that it will give you an opportunity to heal deep trauma, and it will also give you the opportunity to go within, uncover, and explore other areas. The 8th house is the house of taboo, and so you can go into topics of, I'm not afraid to discuss this at this point in my life, or I'm not afraid to share this, I'm not afraid to go there. And over here, this Saturn and Neptune, they may be, but that's their lesson, not yours. You need to be cautious about what you say, how you say it, own your words, and know that you are living your best life and your journey, and reflecting on your goals, your communication, being clear with like the 12th. This is about secrets and the hidden matters, and reflecting on, what do you own in this? How can you go back to this? How can you go back and take what you know now and finish some things in your life? Like maybe do that past life regression, maybe work on your Akashic records, maybe, like the 12th house, it's the hidden, it's the secrets. And so at this time, you may do some deep meditation, some yoga, some going within, or working with a spiritual advisor and going within and uncovering, reevaluating, re-seeing, rethinking, like it's the re-house. I want to go back in time with me and to clear out some things. I need to move past this blockage so I can move forward with more success. So for Scorpio Sun and Scorpio Rising, Mercury is stationing retrograde in your 11th house. Now, your 11th house for you is your personal wishes, hopes, dreams, the people that you connect with in order to make it happen. It's the house of organizations, and it's the social groups. It's your relationship with friends, but they're not like your close friends. It's the friends that you get together because you have this common goal. It's the house of creativity, where you take what you want to do and how do you manifest it into the future, and who do you connect up with in order to make this happen. So you're definitely going to be reevaluating, what are the groups that I belong to? What are the social circles that I belong to? I want to draw your attention to the opposition. Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde, and it's going to waver in between Saturn and Neptune in your 5th house of what brings joy to you. This is children being childlike, art, music, creativity, gambling, sex, love affairs. And so Saturn is authority, and Neptune is this is what I'm dreaming. This is what I want to do. And this Mercury stationing retrograde is where are you giving away your consent? Where are you giving away things because you're not reading the fine print? You're not listening to everything. You're answering impulsively. Mercury rules over not just your 11th house, but it also rules your 8th house of your shared resources. This is your cash, your property, contracts that you have with other people. This can be with business partners, or it could also be with marriage partners. It's the house of deep bonding. And with this, I look at this and say, okay, there could be affairs or some things that are going on with children that affect your contracts, that affect, remember, it's your wills, it's your credit, it's alimony, child support, it's all contracts. So anything that is written or said at this time, where are you giving away consent? Where are you not owning what you're doing? Where are you not reading the fine print? Because we're going to have, there's this beautiful trine. Here's Mercury in your 11th house, and we have Saturn and Jupiter in your 7th house. Now, your 7th house is your partnerships, your relationships. It's your one-on-one. It's business partnerships. It's best friends, significant others. Now, Uranus is there. This is shocking. Think outside the box. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It's communicating, but it's communicating with email, phone, text, airwaves. So just think, how do I communicate and see the bigger picture in a quick and fast way? It's about the public. And Jupiter is expansive, but in the sound and stable sign of Taurus right now. So wanting these solid, stable relationships, but what is going on with the way that you're communicating? This could be you reviewing your friendships, being cautious in all of your social interactions that go on right now so that your words are not used against you, or that somebody doesn't take your words the wrong way. Remember that you're going to have this opportunity to go back. With Mercury retrograde in the 11th house, I think about you as going back and saying, I no longer want to follow this person on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever they are, because I want to add in that Uranus section. But I want to finish this. The 11th house are your projects that you have started with your 5th house. So what did you start with in your 5th house? What is ending here that you need to go back, fine tune, and tweak? This is cleaning shop of what are your goals? Finishing goals before you move on to new. You cannot start something new until you have completely put to rest old things that you have been working on. And this is like too many irons in the fire, and you need to finish. And so use caution with that, with making sure that your work is your authentic work, and that if you're using any form of AI or whatever, that you do take it and fine tune and tweak it and make it your own, because others will find out about it. Alrighty. So for Sagittarius Sun and Sagittarius Rising, Mercury is going to station retrograde at the top of your chart in your house of career. Now, it's kind of important because it's going to affect you a little bit more than others, because it rules not only your career, but it also rules your partnership, your significant other, your friends. It's your 7th house. Mercury having you go back over partnerships, contracts, things that you're writing, products that you are putting out into the public. The 10th house is not just how you are seen at work, but it's how you are seen in the general public. It is your career, your life path, but it's also government and the authority figures and who are bosses over you. I want to draw your attention to Mercury in your 10th will be wavering back and forth opposite of Saturn and Neptune in your 4th house. Now, this is your house of home. And so what authority figures have to do with house, home, boss. So this can be boss, parent, that can take your words and use them against you. And this will affect your home. So Mercury at the top of your chart is about you saying, where am I giving up my consent at work and at home and with my partnerships, with significant others, my clients, my one-on-one relationships? Where am I not reading the fine print? Where am I not paying attention to the details? Now, Mercury is stationing retrograde, and it has this beautiful trine to Jupiter in your 6th house. Jupiter is pretty darn close to Uranus. So Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, and think of it as airwaves. It takes all of your communication and quickly disperses it through email, phone, text, everything. And Jupiter is seeing the bigger picture, offering gifts in abundance. This trine to your 6th house, the 6th house is your daily habits. It's your balance between work and home. It is pets. It is your job, your workplace. It's your coworkers. It is your mentors that support you. It's your services. It's the house of sickness. It is the house of pets. And so Mercury stationing retrograde, having this opposition to your 4th house of home, and then this connection with Jupiter. Jupiter's going to offer you the opportunity to say, I will get sick if I don't pay attention and not give away myself completely at work. I need to be healthy. I need to finish these projects. This Mercury retrograde is going to have you thinking twice about a lot of things that you are doing at work, because it is opposing everything that has to do with your home. And Jupiter in your 6th house is, if you are making the most of everything, Jupiter will offer you this abundance of, I can plan to work and I can plan for my yoga, for my meditation, to join this club, to join this workshop, to take care of my mental, physical, spiritual health and well-being. Because it is a trine, it's offering you this gift of abundance in this area of your life. But use caution with, where are you giving away the consent? Where are you not reading the fine print? Where are you allowing somebody else to take advantage of you and kind of gaslight you or take credit for what you are doing at work? So think about anything that has to do with the internet, anything that has to do with written communication, projects that you are working on. You're going to have this opportunity to go back, finish, see the bigger picture, and make sure that all of your work is yours. If you are using any type of assistance, please make sure that you are giving credit where credit is due, and make sure that if it is yours, you are trademarking it somehow so other people are not claiming credit of it. Remember that this time will have you reassess your career goals, reassess the legacy that you want to be leaving behind, reassess how you want people to see you. Is it philanthropic work? Is it through your job? Is it as a great parent? Is it like, how do you want to be known? Mercury retrograde here will have you rethinking all of those goals. And then how are you communicating these for your professional communication? The sun in Virgo is, I have to have a plan. I have to be the one to make this happen. And Mercury stationing retrograde is, in order to do that, I need a long-term plan that will last. Let's finish these projects so I can move on. All right. So for Capricorn Sun and Capricorn Rising, Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde in your 9th house. The 9th house is classes and workshops. It is foreign travel. It is religion. It is the study of things. It is the house of publishing and the house of law. So this is going to be an area of your life. Maybe you want to travel back to another place, or maybe you are reconnecting with clients or places, people, places, and things that you have visited before. Maybe you are finishing a project, publishing something. something with legal matters that you're able to now finally finish. I do want to draw your attention to the opposition. When Mercury stations retrograde, it will oppose your third house. Now, your third house has Saturn flanking on one side and Neptune on the other. And it's not exactly touching, but it is coming very, very close to both. So Saturn is authority figures and Neptune is your hopes, your dreams, but things are blurry. And so authority figures taking your words and misconstruing them, taking credit for things that you are doing. So you're going to have to look at this and say, where am I giving away my consent? Mercury rules not only your ninth house, but it also rules your sixth house of your health, your daily habits, your work, your mental, physical, spiritual health, well-being. It is the house of pets, and it is the house where you find mentorship. And so at this time, you may be looking into, I need to find a mentor that can support me and help me finish these projects. Or I need to go back and finish this class, finish this workshop. And how do I make that happen? And make sure that you are reading the fine print. If you're ready to have something published, if you're ready to do that great work, this is going back and finding that work and saying, okay, what am I missing here? I have to go back and read these details. I have to make sure that I'm giving credit where credit is due and making sure that I am seeing the bigger picture. I say seeing the bigger picture because we also have this beautiful trine to Jupiter in your fifth house. Your fifth house for you is the house of what brings you joy, love affairs, children, art, music, gambling, sex. The fifth house is literally the house of what brings me joy. It could be sports, it could be anything. And so this is the house that's going to offer you the gift, the trine, that you need to finish these activities. And this is the fifth house is what is going to be the result of the joy that comes from. And it will keep your health and well-being good. The opposition is making sure that the words that I'm using are my own. And that if you are using technology, if you are using AI, or if other people are, this is, okay, I am concerned about you not being cautious enough about signing any contracts or documents and having somebody else take credit for your work. Somebody else saying these projects that you've done, this stuff that you've created. Remember, your fifth house is the house of what brings you joy. That there could be an authority figure or somebody else who will come to you and say, yeah, well, you didn't read the fine print. You signed it here. You didn't do this. You. So I'm reminding you to pay attention to the details, because Mercury opposite of this Saturn and Neptune is you being manipulated, your words being manipulated, your words being altered or changed. So use caution with things that you are putting out there with this opposition, and making sure that you're taking the time to go back and finish your projects. This is an opportunity for you to go back and reflect on your beliefs, reflect on your travel plans of where you have been, where do you want to go back to, and all of your educational pursuits about where do you want to go from here. Or have you received enough that you're no longer the student and now you're ready to become the teacher? This will give you an opportunity to finish those projects, reevaluate that, and push your work on out there. All right, good luck with that, Capricorn. All right, Aquarius Sun and Aquarius Rising. Mercury is going to be stationing retrograde in your 8th house. The 8th house for you is your shared resources. It is your cash and property that you have with other people. It's also your debts. It's debts, wills, alimony, child support. This is the house where you definitely will be signing contracts, looking at paperwork. I want to draw your attention to this opposition. The opposition of Mercury will go right between Saturn and Neptune in your 2nd house. Now, the 2nd house is your personal cash, property, self-worth. It is your money, your finances. this will definitely affect you with contracts that you are signing. This has everything to do with where are you giving this consent away because you're not reading the fine print. You're just wanting to get things done and over with. Mercury not only rules your 8th house, but Mercury rules your 5th house. The 5th house is you with children. It is you with creative projects. It's the house of joy. It is the house of love affairs, art, music, sex, gambling, children, sports. It's the house of what do you do in order to have pleasure. And so Mercury stationed retrograde is going to have those two areas of your life definitely affected. And with this opposition, it's going to affect you and your self-worth. I look to the trine of Mercury retrograde. And the trine has to do with your 4th house of home and family and your ancestors. It's your foundation. Now, Jupiter is here and Uranus is here. Jupiter is seeing the bigger picture. It's the great benefic. It offers all these gifts and opportunities. And so good things can come from this if you're cautious. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury in that when it communicates, it shares things quick with the broad public, with the general public. It is email, phone, text, the internet. It's about taking the information and sharing it far and wide. So these contracts, these are like, this could be a marriage contract. This could be a business contract. This could be, the 8th house is the house of deep bonding that you share with somebody else. And in the sign of Virgo, it's about being meticulous, about going back over the fine print. And this could be, again, alimony, child support, debt. It's anything that you share. It's wills. It's winning the lottery. It's anything that has money or property that comes from somewhere else that comes to you. And the opposition will be to your personal cash, property, and self-worth. So make sure that you are looking to read the fine print of everything. If there's AI or a third party or somebody involved, don't just sign it. Go back, read it, think about it. Get somebody to help you to understand it if you do not understand it. Mercury retrograde opposite of your 2nd house and with that Saturn and Neptune can be your written work, your contracts, your communication can be manipulated and altered or changed and used against you. So I'm giving you the heads up about using caution with this. I want you're going to be reevaluating all of your shared resources, and I want you to use caution with all financial matters at this time. All right, good luck with that, Aquarius. All right, Pisces Sun and Pisces Rising. This Mercury retrograde is occurring in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, your one-on-one relationships with your friends, your significant other. This is a business partner, a marriage partner. It is it's the 1+1 house. I want to bring your attention to what is it opposing. It is opposing something that has to do with you. Now, Saturn and Neptune are in your 1st house. So Saturn is needing boundaries. Neptune is dreams and illusions. And so Saturn can be an authority figure that has to do with something with partnerships, having to do with these contracts that you have with others, clients, your one-on-one, and that what will this definitely come in opposition of how you see yourself? Is this going to be a reflection of this is not who I am, this is not how I represent myself? Mercury rules not just your seventh house of relationships, but it rules your fourth house of your home, your family, your roots, your foundation, your past, your ancestors. And so you could be diving into information that has to do with that, and you could be changing some thoughts and some beliefs and clearing up some karma that has to do with this is no longer who I am. Standing on your own with what are your words, what are your thoughts, what are your beliefs. There is this trine to Jupiter. The trine to Jupiter is in your third house of your, it's about changes and your communication with your siblings. It's communication with your neighbors. It's about all types of communication, and Jupiter is here and Uranus is here. Jupiter is seeing the bigger picture, and Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It is the planet of quick dispersing of information. So I want you to think the internet. So if you are signing contracts, or if you are working with partners, look, this is going to be an opportunity for you to go back and look at who are you really working with? Who are you really signing contracts with? Who do you really rethinking, revising, reviewing your partnership with friends, your partnership with clients, and possibly changing how does that reflect with who you really are? Where are you giving away who you are, your consent, your thoughts, your beliefs, because somebody else wrote a contract and you just signed it. You just went along with it. You didn't read the details of it. And Jupiter and Uranus is going to give you this opportunity to say, nope, I need to stop. I need to slow down. I need to research this information before I just go do this. The Mercury opposite of Saturn and Neptune means that your words, whether they are written or said, can be manipulated, altered, or changed, and that will reflect on who you are. So Mercury going back over your seventh house is making sure of, is this who I want to identify with? I need to clear up these things, and I need to use caution with what I say, how I say it, the contracts that I put out there, the contracts that I sign, who I come in contact with, and I need to finish some things in this area of my life, because this is going to reflect on exactly who I am and my home, what my beliefs are, and me seeing the bigger picture of what do I want to be associated with. Pisces as a rising sign is very intuitive, it's very watery, and it doesn't always want to be grounded with the facts and the details. And this is going to be a huge opportunity for you, or a learning lesson of going back and making sure that you're just not trusting that you are doing the work that you have to do. Remember, we have this grand earth trine between your 11th house of your friends, your social circles, your hopes, your wishes, your dreams, that will support you with Jupiter and Uranus, and your 7th house. And so what lessons are you learning? Where do you have to go back and rethink and review some of these contracts, or some partnerships that you have? Maybe some partnerships have just ended in a natural way, like the project is over, or they no longer need your service, or you no longer need that service, or you're ready to take things to a higher level, or a different perspective by signing a contract. Read it, reread it, and make sure that you're just not giving away your consent by just not reading the fine print, but by paying attention to the words, not just your intuition. All right, good luck with that, Pisces.